Okay, today we will learn about the use of dimensional analysis. In the previous lecture, we have discussed a lot about the dimensional formula, dimension of some physical quantities, and now what is the use of dimensional analysis? So, the first use is checking the correctness, checking the correctness of formulae. So, how will you check the correctness of a formula? Whether this relation is correct or not. So, that can be checked with the help of dimensional analysis. The very important thing is, if a physical relation, if a formula is correct, then dimension of each term in LHS and dimension of each term in RHS should be same. So, if the dimension of LHS term is equal to the dimension of RHS term, it means the formula is correct. But if they are not equal, then the formula is wrong. So, let us check one example. So, you all know what is V is equal to U plus AT. Yeah, from class 9 onward you have studied V equal to U plus AT. Now tell me, what is the dimension of V? Now this has left LHS has one term and RHS has two terms. So dimension of V. So this is a V. Actually we are writing dimensional formula. So dimensional formula V is LT minus 1. Okay, all of you know. Then what is the dimension? Dimension of, that is dimensional formula we are writing. So better to write dimensional formula. So let us write formula first. Formula. Here also I am writing formula. Formula of U. So this U is equal to, again same thing, whether it is initial velocity or final velocity. It is velocity simply. Change in velocity, relative velocity, all have the same dimension. That is LT minus 1. Now think about the dimension of AT. So dimensional formula of A into T, the whole two terms. So this is equal to LT minus 2 and then T. So again it is LT minus 1. So what you see, dimensional formula of each term in LHS and RHS are equal. And that's why the formula is correct. So lastly you will have to write dimensional formula of each term in LHS and RHS are same. So the above relation is correct. Above relation is correct. Correct. Now you can check some other relation like time period of a simple pendulum. So this T is 2 pi under root L by G. You know, L is the effective length of the pendulum. T is the time period. So if you have a pendulum like this, then in completing one full oscillation, so starting from here, it goes to the extreme point and then comes back to the extreme point. This is one full oscillation. and the time required is called T. That is called time period. Time taken by the bob to complete one full oscillation. So this is 2 pi under root L by G. L is the effective length of the pendulum, that is center of suspension to the center of oscillation. This distance is called, this length L is called effective length. That is separation between center of suspension to the center of oscillation. Center of oscillation. This is center of oscillation, this part. Okay. So then L effective length and G acceleration due to gravity. So LHS has dimension of T. So dimension of T, right? Dimensional formula of T is what? It's only T. Now think about the dimensional formula of under root L by G, because 2 pi is a number which is a constant, dimensionless constant. So regarding 2 pi, dimension will not say anything. This is the limitation of dimension analysis. So there the dimension keeps silence, because this is the limitation. So dimension cannot speak anything about the constant. What should be its exact value? That is found experimentally. Okay. Then dimensional formula of right hand side term, dimensional formula of under root L by G. Under root L by G. So this L means length, capital L, divided by G is LT minus 2. Just cancel the numerator, denominator term L, and then you are getting square root of this numerator. If you bring it in numerator, then it is T square. And what is the square root of T? I mean T square under root. That is T only. So dimensional formula of L by T is T only. So our LHS and RHS have same dimensional formula. Therefore, this is correct. So dimension, so the relation is correct. The formula is correct. The relation is correct. But if somebody writes T is equal to 6 pi under root L by G, then also dimension analysis tells that this is correct. But actually it is not correct. So regarding this constant, dimension cannot say anything. It remains silence. So, okay, this is the limitation, drawback of dimension analysis. Okay, but it gives so many information about the relation. Now, we are moving towards the next part. You might have studied S is equal to UT. Yeah, taken a snapshot. Taken. Okay. Then I'm doing some other relations also. There are so many relations. You can check the correctness of any relation. So I'm writing S is equal to UT plus half ET square. Okay. Then what is the dimension of S? So dimensional formula of S is what? S only. That is L. S is the distance. And again dimensional formula of U into T. It's what? LT minus 1 into T. So this is L only. Again only L. Now dimensional formula of AT square. 1 by 2 is a constant. It has no dimension. So then think about AT square only. So dimensional formula of half AT square. Actually for the 1 by 2 it has no dimension, but A is acceleration, which is LT minus 2, and then T square. So again you are getting L. So dimensional formula of each term in LHS and RHS are same. That's why it is dimensionally correct. So the relation, above relation, is dimensionally correct. Why I am telling dimensionally correct? Because if someone write S is equal to UT plus 2 by 3 AT square, okay, dimensionally it is correct. But in actual formula, it should not be 2 by 3. It is 1 by 2 only. So the relation is dimensionally correct. Dimensionally correct. So this way you can check the correctness of any formula. Now we are moving towards the second use. Second use is the derivation of relation. Okay, I am writing here only in the lower part. Or second one I am doing converting one system of unit into another system, into another. So what I am talking, if you have some physical quantity like force, the SI unit, suppose it is 5 kg meter per second square, and you are asked to convert this into CGS unit, that is gram centimeter per second square. So then how will you convert one system of unit into another system of unit? That can also be done with the help of dimensional analysis. So let us see a physical quantity. Any physical quantity is represented by the product of physical quantity any. Suppose x. So then x is equal to n into u, where n stands for numeric part and u stands for unit part. Like the length of the some wire or some thread is 5 meter. So what does it mean? 5 into 1 meter. So it is 5 times of 1 meter. So this 5 is the numeric part and u meter is the unit part. So where n stands for numeric part and u stands for unit part. Remember, any physical quantity, if you represent it in SI unit or in CGS unit, their value will be same. As for example, if I ask you which one is greater, 5 meter or 500 centimeter, what will be its answer? Yeah, 5 meter, 500 centimeter. Which one is greater? Both are equal. So if you are representing it in any system of unit, then the physical quantity will have the same magnitude. So that is n1 into u1 in one system, the value of physical quantity is n1 into u1. In second system, it is n2 into u2. And these two are equal. Like 5 meter is equal to 500 centimeter. So the relation between n and u is constant. In other words, you can say n into u is equal to a constant. Means n or u directly inversely proportional. So if unit part increases, numeric part decreases. As for example, 5 meter, 5 into 1 meter, so you can write 500 into 1 centimeter. So see, this unit part is decreasing, centimeter is less than meter, so numeric part is increasing. Numeric part, which was 5 earlier, now it becomes 500. So that is n into u constant. If one of the part increases, other part will decrease. In such a way that n into u always constant. Okay, so n1 u1, since it is constant, n into u is constant. So n1 u1 is equal to n2 u2. Like p into v is constant, so p1 v1 is equal to p2 v2. Am I clear to you? Yeah. So n1 u1 is equal to n2 u2. Okay, u1 is 1 unit, that is say SI, and this is CGS. So in different system of unit, okay, take the snapshot. I will rub the upper part. Taken. Okay. Then The second part is U1. In one system of unit, you can write M1A, L1B, T1C. This is the value of MLT. M1, L1, T1. In one system of unit, mass is represented by M1, length L1, time T1. And dimension of, that is power, of mass, length and time are A, B and C respectively, where A, B and C are dimensions in one system, of unit. Maybe SI, maybe CGS, system of unit. Okay. Now U2 is the unit part in second system. So we are considering mass as M2, length as L2 and time as T2. But the dimension will not change, because if you are writing 5 meter square, so this is how much centimeter square, or 5 meter is equal to 500 centimeter. You can't write 5 meter is equal to 500 centimeter square. So dimension of L is 1 here. So dimension of L is 1 here. That is, same dimensions quantity can be equated. So dimension of M2 should also be same. That is A, that is B, that is C. For example, if I ask you acceleration due to gravity in one system of unit is 9.8 meter per second square. Okay, so dimension of L is 2, and what about the dimension of T? Minus 2. But if you express it in CGS unit, then its value will be 980. Now instead of meter you will take centimeter per second square. So dimension in both the units will be same. So that's why U2 is the unit part in second system of unit. Now N1 U1 is M1A, L1 raised to B, T1 raised to C is equal to N2, numeric part in second system of unit, and then M2 A, L2 B, and then T2 C. Okay. Now if you want to know the value of N2, that is what should be the numeric part in second system, like 5 meter is equal to how much centimeter. Okay, so that how much centimeter is N2. So you are going to find N2. Then N2 can be written as M1 by M2 raised to A, then L1 by L2 raised to B, and then T1 by T2 raised to C. Can we write like this? So this is the standard formula, standard equation of conversion of one system of unit into another system. Now consider it as equation 1, because you need to apply this formula at several places. Now the question is, convert 1 Newton into dyne. So 1 Newton is how much dyne? You know, this is the unit of force in CGS system. Centigram second system, unit of force is dyne, and Newton is the system unit of force in SI. Okay, now 1 Newton, convert this Newton into fundamental units. So 1 Newton means 1 kg meter per second square. Actually you have to write Newton into MLT form, mass, length, time, fundamental form. So now N1 is 1 only, 1 Newton, 1 into 1 Newton, okay. Then kg, mass. M1 is 1 kg, L1 is 1 meter, and then T1 is 1 second. Similarly, in another system, CGS system, N2 we don't know. What will be its value? We will find it later on. Now what is M2? M2 is 1 gram. And then L2 is 1 centimeter. And then T2 is 1 second. You know, time has same unit in both the CGS or SI, second only. FPS, in FPS also, foot pound second. So second is the common for all the three, FPS, CGS and SI, as well as MKS. So then dimension A. Now A is what? That is dimension of mass. So what is the power of mass here? 1. So A is 1. Now what is the power of meter? That is length. So B is the power of L and B is equal to 1. Okay. Now C, power of T. So power of T is minus 2. That is dimension of T term is minus 2. Now use this, put all this value in equation 1. What you get? So from equation 1, I will rub the upper part. Just take the snapshot. Taken. Anyone can take? Now try to get. Okay, if you have written in copy, then later on you will. If you have noted it in your copy, then okay, send it that picture only. That will also okay. 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 Now I am putting the value of all the variables. I mean A, B, C, everything in equation 1. So from equation 1, that N2 is N1, N1 is 1 only. Now tell me what is M1? 1 kg. And M2 1 gram. Raised to A is 1. Need not write 1. So L1 is 1 meter in SI, 1 centimeter in CGS, raised to 1 B, and then C, 1 second by 1 second, raised to minus 2. Okay, this is 1 kg by 1 gram. It's how much? 1 kg is 1000 gram. 1000 gram by 1 gram, cancel gram, that is 1000 only. And then 1 meter is 100 centimeter. 100 centimeter by 1 centimeter. Centimeter you can cancel. So you are getting 100 only. Here it is 100. And then 1 second by 1 second, 1 raised to minus 2 is 1 only. So the numeric part is 10 raised to 5 in CGS. So 1 unit is how much dyne? 10 raised to 5 dyne. So this way you are able to convert one system of unit, that is the physical quantity in SI unit, what will be its value in CGS unit, you can convert it with the help of this formula. You can convert many more, like joule into erg. Joule into erg. Okay, take this. Should I have this portion? Yeah, you have taken already snapshot of this part. Okay, the second question is convert joule. 1 joule is how much erg? Second question, you know, joule is the unit of work done. So 1 joule is how much erg? Erg is the unit of work done, energy in CGS system. Now we are going to convert joule into erg. 1 joule is how much erg? Okay. So joule is not the fundamental. Convert this into fundamental unit. So joule can be written as, yeah, force into displacement. So force is kg meter per second square into displacement is again meter. So the fundamental unit is a kg meter square per second square. So 1 kg meter square per second square is also known as 1 joule. And similarly 1 arg means 1 gram centimeter square per second square. Gram centimeter square per second square. This is the unit of energy or work done in CGS system. That is in CGS. In CGS system. And this is in SI system. Okay. Now N1. So here N1 is 1 joule. That is 1. Okay. Now M1 is 1 kg. What about L1? 1 meter. And what about T1? This is 1 second. In another system, N2 you have to find. Okay. Now what is M2? M2 is 1 gram. Then what is L2? Is 1 centimeter. And then what is T2? That is 1 second. Now think about the dimension. So dimension of mass. So what is the power of mass? 1. Here also 1. So dimension of mass, which is A is 1. Now dimension of length, which is B, the power of B is 1 only. And the power of, that is power of time, which is second. So 1 second T is equal to, the power is, what is power? Minus 2. Power of B, oh, centimeter square. Okay. Centimeter square. Power of B is 2. Yeah, meter square, and here it is centimeter square. B is 2, T is minus 2. That is C. C, the power of T is C, and that C is minus 2. Now use the relation, same relation again. So I am using the relation, take the snapshot, I will rub in the upper part. Okay, taken. Okay. Now the formula is, that is equation 1, which I have written earlier. I am writing it again for you. N1, M1 by M2 raised to A, L1 by L2 raised to B, and then T1 by T2 raised to C. Now substituting all the values given here. Now A equals to 1, B, 2, C minus 2. Now with this data, you can write N2. Now N1 is 1 only. Okay. Then M1 by M2. M1 is 1 kg. M2 is 1 gram. A is 1. Now L1 by L2. 1 meter by 1 centimeter raised to B. B is 2 only. And then 1 second by 1 second raised to minus 2. Okay, just solve it. 1 kg by 1 gram, nothing but 1000, because 1 kg is 1000 gram. 1000 gram by 1 gram, that is 1000 only. 1000 into 1 meter by 1 centimeter, nothing but 100. 1 second by 1 second, 1 raised to minus 2, that is 1 only. Now it is 10 raised to 4. It is 10 raised to 4. So I should write 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? Because this is 100 square. So 100 square is 10,000. 10,000. Square power is there. So this is in total 10 raised to 7. So N2 is 10 raised to 7. So 1 joule is how much arc? 10 raised to 7 arc is the final answer. 1 joule is how much arc? 10 raised to 7 arc. Okay. Should I rub this lower part? Now, the third use is derivation of relation. Matlab deriving relations between different physical quantities. So, third relation. Deriving relations between different physical quantities. That is establishing relation. So this is the third use of dimensional analysis. With the help of this, you can establish relation provided that you should know the dependency. Means you have at least the knowledge that time period of a simple pendulum depends upon length of the pendulum. That much you should know. But with what factor it should vary, that you may not know. Okay, that dimension can be found with the help of dimensional analysis method. So, I am citing one example. One principle is there called principle of homogeneity. Principle of homogeneity of dimensions. That principle tells that if LHS and RHS have same base, their dimensions are different, then you can equate their dimensions. You can equate their dimensions. So with the help of principle of homogeneity, you can correlate them. As for example, I am citing one question. Time period of simple pendulum T depends upon length of the pendulum, effective length of the pendulum. But I don't know what should be its power. What should be the dimension of L? Okay, this is unknown to you. Consider it as A. At the same time, you know time period of simple pendulum depends upon acceleration due to gravity, G. But I don't know what should be its dimension. So raised to B. B is unknown to you. At the same time, one can say that time period of simple pendulum also depends upon mass of the bob. Though you will learn that it does not depend upon mass of the bob, okay, but knowingly or unknowingly I am writing it depends upon mass also, mass of the bob raised to C. Okay, if it does not depend upon M, then dimension of M, that is C, should be 0. So if the moment C is 0, it means time period does not depend upon mass of the bob. So then you can write all this relation in one line, T proportional to L raised to A, G raised to B, and then M raised to C. So T is equal to some constant K, L raised to A, G raised to B, M raised to C. And you know the dimensional formula of LHS and RHS. So let us put the dimensional formula of each and every term, provided that this constant K, you know, it has no dimension, or dimensional analysis cannot speak anything about the constant. So better to skip it. Okay. So this is basic equation, and then dimension of T is M naught, L naught, T raised to 1. Should I write? Only T can be written as M naught, L naught raised to naught means 0, L raised to 0, T raised to 1. So M raised to 0, 1, L raised to 0, 1, and then T raised to 1 means T only. So this is T only. And right side, this L is capital L raised to A, okay. Then this G, which is LT minus 2, acceleration due to gravity, okay, raised to B, and then M raised to capital M raised to C. Now you can combine. So L raised to A, L raised to B. So what will happen? L raised to A into L raised to B. Powers are added in multiplication. So L raised to A plus B, should I write? L raised to A plus B. And then think T raised to minus 2B, only one term. Okay, right? T raised to minus 2B. And then M raised to C, only single term, M raised to C. And this side, left side is M naught, L naught, T raised to 1. Okay, now you can use the principle of homogeneity, that is dimension of same base. So what is the dimension of M? 0. Here the dimension of M is C. So these powers are equated. So C equal to 0. C equals to 0. I can rub the upper part. Okay, take the snapshot. Take the snapshot. Taken. Okay. So by the principle of homogeneity, applying the principle of from the principle of homogeneity of dimension of dimension. So what is this principle? That is dimension of equal base mm. So what is the dimension of mc? Here LHS it is 0. So the power should be equated. So c equal to 0. And then what is the power of t? Minus 2b. Power means you are equating dimension. Here t, here t. So minus 2b is equal to 1. So what will be b? This implies b is equal to minus 1 by 2. Now think about the last one, a plus b, power of L, a plus b. And here the power of L is 0. Okay. So what is a? This is minus b. And minus you have calculated, that is plus b. That is plus half, 1 by 2. So now you are in a position to all the dimensions a, b and c which were unknown earlier. Now you can put all this value in equation 1. So from 1, this is your equation 1. Remember, t is equal to k L raised to a. Now L raised to a means half. Now g raised to b. b is again minus half. Okay, then m raised to c. c is 0. So m raised to 0 means 1. So it does not depend upon mass of the bob. This confirms that mass of a simple pendulum is independent of, that is time period of a simple pendulum is independent of the mass of the bob. So it doesn't matter. The time period will be same. So then t is equal to k L raised to half and then g raised to minus half. Should I write g raised to half in denominator? And then finally you can write k under root L by g. But regarding this constant k, dimension cannot speak anything. It will remain silent. So the value of k is found experimentally and it comes to be 2 pi. Then 2 pi under root L by g. So you need not to mention what should be the value of k. You have to write up to this portion. If the relation comes that correlate all this quantity, then t is equal to some constant k under root L by g. Okay. So I am doing the next question of this relation best. So I am doing the second question. There are being relation between different physical quantity. Now I am doing second question. Now force. In the previous lecture we have discussed viscosity. So when a spherical ball is dropped in a liquid column and the ball keeps on moving in downward direction with some velocity v. The radius of the ball is r, the spherical ball. The viscous drag force, viscous force is F, and the coefficient of viscosity of the fluid, liquid, let it be eta. Then viscous drag force F depends upon radius of the ball. Radius of the ball. The first factor is R. Okay. Then I don't know the dimension of R. So let it be A. So it depends upon velocity with which it is falling. Velocity V raised to B. And the third factor is it depends upon the eta, I mean coefficient of viscosity of the liquid or fluid. And what should be its dimension, that also we don't know. Now you have to give a relation between F, R, V and eta. Okay. So F, combining all the three, you can write F raised to, F is equal to R raised to A, V raised to B, eta raised to C. And then F is equal to some constant K, R raised to A, V raised to B, eta raised to C. Now you have to put the dimension of each term in LHS and RHS. So this side it is force. So what is the dimension of force? You know, MLT minus 2. Okay. Then dimension of K, dimensionless. I don't know what should be the dimension of K. So according to dimensional analysis, we can't write anything for K. Skip it. Then dimension of R is L only. And what is the dimension of V? Velocity, LT minus 1 raised to B. Write in proper form. And then eta. What is the dimension of eta? Who can tell me the eta? M L minus 1 T minus 1. M L minus 1 T minus 1. In the previous lecture, we have already found the value of eta, dimension of eta. M L minus 1 T minus 1 raised to C. Remember, eta is the coefficient of viscosity. So eta stands for coefficient of viscosity. Coefficient of viscosity. Viscosity. And its value is, coefficient of viscosity, dimension of eta is ML minus 1 T minus 1. You can search your note, there you will find coefficient of previous lecture, ML minus 1 T minus 1. Okay. Now, here it is M, L, T minus 2, and the right side is C, M raised to C, then L raised to A, L raised to B, L raised to minus C. So powers are added in multiplication. So L raised to A plus B minus C. Yeah, A plus B minus C. Then T raised to minus B, T raised to minus C. So then T raised to minus B minus C. Should I write? Okay. Now equate the dimension, or you can write it simply MLT minus 2, M raised to C, L raised to A plus B minus C, T raised to minus B minus C, using the principle of homogeneity. So once again I will write from here only. So take the snapshot and then I will rub the upper part. Taken? Taken? Okay. Okay. Now I am writing in this portion only. So from the principle of homogeneity, now C is equal to 1. Am I right? C equals to 1 only. Then B minus C, minus B minus C is equal to 1. No, minus 2. So minus B minus C is equal to minus 2. So minus B and then C is 1. So this is minus 2. So this is B equal to minus 1 plus 2, that is 1. B1. And then from third relation, equating the power of L, which is A plus B minus C, and is equal to 1 only. Now you are having C and B. So A plus B is how much? 1 minus C is again 1. This is 1. So A is also 1. So A equals to 1, B equals to 1, C is equal to 1. You are getting this with the dimensions. And then from equation 1, you can write F is equal to K R A. A means 1, need not to write. V raised to B, 1, need not to write. And then eta raised to C, again 1 cannot, need not to write. So the final relation is K R eta V. K R eta V. The value of K is found experimentally. Dimension cannot give you the value of K. And then the relation between F, R, eta and V are as shown here. Now I am doing the last question today's, because time has already been finished, I think so. So is there 5 minutes? 5, 6 minutes? Yeah? It is there. 17. So we have, okay, uh, you know this famous formula lambda is equal to h by mb. That is de Broglie wavelength. Yeah, Planck's constant. So better to write the relation lambda depends upon Planck's constant h. But what should be its dimension? I don't know. Now lambda depends upon mass of the body, particle moving, dimension of mbb, and lambda depends upon v, velocity with which the particle is moving. Dimension of v is also not known to us. So lambda depends upon three factors. So one can relate, writing in one single sentence, lambda h raised to a, m raised to b, then v raised to c. So lambda is equal to some constant k, h raised to a, m raised to b, and then v raised to c. Now h is Planck's constant. Remember, h is Planck's constant. Planck's constant. M, mass of body or particle, whatever. And v, its velocity. Velocity with which it is moving. So this is equation 1. Now let me put the dimension. So dimension of lambda, lambda is what? Wavelength. That is length, distance. So this is L only. So should I write m naught L t raised to naught, t raised to 0. And this side h, Planck's constant. I have told you the dimension of Planck's constant, ml square t minus 1, h. Dimension of h is, actually this is E is equal to h nu. So h is equal to E by nu. Nu is the frequency. So energy is ml square t minus 2. And frequency is t raised to minus 1. So should I write ml square t minus 1? This is the dimensional formula of Planck's constant. So I am writing the dimensional formula of Planck's constant, which is ml square t minus 1 raised to a. Then mass capital M raised to b. And then velocity Lt minus 1 raised to c. Okay, combine it. So m raised to a, m raised to b. So then you can write m raised to a plus b. Then L raised to 2a, L raised to c. Should I write 2a plus c? And then t raised to minus a, t raised to minus c. So this is minus a minus c. Okay, no problem. T raised to 0. Now, using the principle of homogeneity, we are in a position to equate the powers. Okay. So the first relation is a plus b is equal to 0. A plus b is equal to 0. Second relation is minus a minus c is equal to 0. So then what will happen? If you add these two, so then this a will cancel out. So b minus c is equal to 0. That is b equals to c. B equals to c. And if you put the value here, 2a plus c is equal to 1. 2a plus c is equal to 1. And the another relation is minus a minus c is equal to 0. So should I write minus 2a minus 2c is equal to 0? Then you will get c directly. So minus 2a minus 2c is equal to 0. From where I can write? I can write from this equation. Using this equation, just multiply 2 in LHS and RHS. You will get this relation. And this relation is coming from equating the power of L. 2a plus c is equal to 1. Okay, just add these two. What you get? This 2a minus 2a plus 2a will cancel out. Then plus c minus 2c. So how much? Minus c is equal to 1 plus 0, that is 1 only. So C is equal to minus 1. This implies C equals to minus 1. So once you get C, you will get B. You will get B. So now, just take the snapshot. I will rub this upper part. Take it. Take it quickly. It will take 2 minutes. 2 minutes more. 2 minutes more. Okay. Then we are putting the value. So from here, since B is equal to C, so B is equal to C, you have already derived minus 1. So you are getting B, and once you get B, you can get A. Since A plus B is equal to 0, so A plus B is minus 1 is equal to 0, so A is equal to 1 only. So you have all the dimensions A, B, C, and now let me put the all dimensions in equation 1, which is lambda is equal to K H raised to A. A power is 1, need not write. Then M raised to B. Yeah, B is minus 1. Then V raised to C. V raised to C. C is how much? Minus 1. So should I write K H by, and this two terms can be written separately in the denominator. So lambda is equal to KH by MV. Okay. Experimentally it is found that the value of K is 1. 1 here. So the final relation is lambda is equal to H by MV, de Broglie matter waves. Lambda H by MV. So this way you can find the de Broglie relation. Okay. So this is the way you can relate. I will do some more problems tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow I will do some more numerical of